You're a very soft-spoken guy. You're a very nice guy. So it flies in the face of what we hear about pimps. Oh, you got to, put your hands on a, you got to talk to a rude.
Yeah.
You're exactly the opposite. Have you always been this way?
I don't put hands on. I put plans on. It's a non-contact sport,
Pimps are like Mark Twain. That's like a Mark Twain quote. I mean, you guys are real American poets. So tell us, you're 16. You got one of your friend John basically gifted you one of your first girl. And then, how did that grow? What kind of money can you bring off of a girl back then?
She gave me, the first money she gave was like $200-something, right? And then she kept giving me money every day. But she was a different type of chick. And I didn't know she was manipulating me. She was manipulating because she wanted to have sex all the time. And in the pimp game, you don't, your penis is your trophy, so you try to starve a chick. The more you starve her, the more you don't act like a trick. The more you act like you got control and you got penis control and you're not tender under the zipper, the more she gravitates towards you because, when she go to a trick, tricks is more, freaks and stuff like that.
Desperate,
You're desperate. But you're supposed to be the opposite of that. Right, so I didn't know that at first. She was just, let's do it all the time, and it was crazy because actually she was 24. It was actually statutory. You know what I'm saying? She was me every day. You know what I'm saying? Because she was much older than me. Yeah. But I couldn't shake the hustle. Right, she wouldn't get enough money. Because if I go to a bank, I go in there with a bag of change. I got like 100, 200 pennies. And the tailor, she'd take the penny, she'd go in the back, and they got the penny machine, And when she go in the back, I just reach over the counter and I grab the money. I was grabbing. I found out years later that the money was in the second drawer. So I started getting the second drawer. That's where you get anywhere from 20 to 30,000. They keep all the 150s. They just kept the 20s at the top. So we learned that, and then that's the kind of money I get. I just kept going back to jail.
So you were robbing banks.
Robbing banks.
In your early pimp days, you were still doing other stuff.
Because pimping money was too slow for me.
Right.
Or I didn't know the game yet. So the last time I went, it was a guy named Pimping Pope. He was one of the biggest pimps in Milwaukee. He had got into it with another pimp over a girl, and he ended up shooting him because the guy was on top of his car. So when I got in there, I said, man, what the hell are you doing here with me if you're a pimp? Because they didn't know me. He had seen me out there trying to pimp. I was attempting to pimp back at that time. So he said, man, if you want to be a real pimp, you got to have all the sympathy removed out your heart. You got to go get a triple bypass. He said, pimping, when you're pimping, a heart is an organ you can't afford. You can't have no heart because you send somebody that's, somebody's child, somebody's sister, somebody's mother. You send them out the door and you send them out in harm's way because there's not no guarantee she's gonna come back home. Right. So you got to be desensitized, right? So I was desensitized. He taught me how to be desensitized and not to have a heart, and that was the part that I was missing. Once I learned that, then I always was a nice looking guy. I can get the baddest chicks, but it's hard when you got a bad chick and, she got the beautiful body and, she's just gorgeous and you got to send her out there to a sadistic trick. You're like, oh my God, I don't want, right. She's too pretty for that. But
it's an awful thing.
It's awful
objectively.
Thing. Objectively. I mean, and you still your mama's son. You still your daddy's son. You still your grandmama's grandbaby.
That's right.
You just in this world because you're trying to survive. Yeah. You're just trying to figure out, how can I get to the next paycheck? How can I survive? And that's the part that I was missing. Once I became desensitized and I took the heart out of it, then I became one of the biggest pimps of all times. You know what I'm saying? I got all the way up to 16.
Wow.
And man, I'm talking about, Johnny, man, I had some of the baddest chicks. And you still have this thing that you still a man. You're like, man, I want to keep this one to myself, right? Right. But it's a saying in the game, you can't get high on your own supply, And I had to, there were a lot of women that I probably would have, said, man, I would marry this chick. This chick is finer than, she's so fine, her mama should have had triplets. Yeah. But you can't do that in the game.
You have to love money more than.
No, you got to love yourself. See, pimping is a control thing. You know, pimps like real pimps is control freaks. So they like, you know, give what they call instruction. Hey, go get me some food, you know, cook me some eggs, or, you know, go to my car and get my shoes out the car. You know, you just give instructions. So pimping is a game of instructions, right? So the money become obsolete after a while because you feel like God, you know, like you some kind of God, you know. I don't know if you the real God, but maybe Gerard the God, you know what I'm saying? But you feel like that, and the women doing everything you're saying. You got beautiful women bowing down to you, and, you know, you got guys that's control Fortune 500 companies, but they punks at home. They woman control them. You know, you got guys, you know, 6'3". They got a woman 5'3". You ask them, say, man, let's go to the Packers game. Man, my woman tripping, I can't go tonight. But this guy throwing everybody across the club because the women, what they do is they break a man down. You know, the first, I don't know how many of your audience is in your audience is religious, but the first chapter in the book is called The Fall of Man, the book of Genesis. It's about a woman breaking a man down. So the woman has always posed a challenge.
Yes.
You know, even though allegedly the book said she came from his rib, you know, and a woman, as Goldie like to say, if you don't take control, she gonna take the steering wheel because she feel you about to crash anyway.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? He's gonna crash.
She has to believe in your masculinity.
Yeah, and how many men have we known to commit suicide over sex, right, or over a woman? So I'm subjected to that same those frailties, you know.
Yeah, we all are.
I can potentially be weak to a woman too, but because of my training, just like a fireman or a police officer, when he shoots you, he don't want to kill you, but that's his training. He have to kill you because that's part of his job. You know, you don't really want to do the things that you do, you know, in the game, but it's part of the training because if you don't do it, then the woman, she has a disposition too. Her disposition too is just a weak ass. He's a punk ass. He's a bitch. You know, he ain't no real pimp. You know, they'll say that. You know, so you have to put these guardrails up, and you got to have your game tight to the point where you don't allow this woman to penetrate you.
Yeah.
And you got to act like no matter what she do, if that woman leave, you talking about Kenny Rogers. It's Kenny Rogers for real. You got to know when to hold him and know when to fold him. You know, you got to really be able to say, you know, bitch, get on out of here.
Yeah.
I don't need you.
Bust bunions.
Yeah, but knowing deep down inside, man, I hope she don't really take this challenge, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, that's what pimping is. So pimping is a mind control. You got to control it. And you know, a pimp understands what a lot of men don't understand. A woman's job is to debase a man, you know? And a woman to say stuff like, where you going? Who's that in your phone? You know, and she does it, you know, in increments. After a while, she'll chip away methodically until you actually bow down. And I'm talking about even, you know, you got men like Jeff Bezos and other men who are, you know, extremely rich and affluent, you know, but they weak to women. Right. You know, a lot of men are weak to women. And it's because that's the only defense that a woman have. Like me and you can probably throw me around this room and probably do all kind of flips and kicks.
I would never.
I know you would never will, but I'm just saying, you know, as a man, you could do that. But a woman, all she has is her mind.
And the body, the sex.
Yeah, but her mind is more power than the sex because she can break you down emotionally. See, God gave a woman the same thing He gave a skunk, a white stripe in the belly for the funk. You know, even the Bible says you don't want. That was
beautiful.
Yeah, but you don't want to meet the scorn of a woman.
No.
You know, so you know we know, you know, that even you look at some of the divorces and stuff like that. You know, women take men through there. You know, they go. Yeah. It's a serious.
No, they ruin men's lives.
Yeah, they
ruin them physically, emotionally. It's hell.
Yeah. So what I do, I stand on women. I take control.
Today's episode is brought to you by The Wellness Company. I love this company, you guys. I was using them long before they were a sponsor of the show. I actually heard about them on podcasts years ago over the pandemic when I was trying to get access to ivermectin when I had COVID. The Wellness Company is an alternative medicine and vitamin company that's disrupting the pharmaceutical industry. I love them. Did you know methylene blue is being sold online as the same grade used in fish tanks? That's right. Watch out for low-quality bottles that are untested for heavy metals and made overseas. You can trust The Wellness Company's recharge. It's a doctor-formulated formulated supplement combining powdered methylene blue with NAD+ and PQQ. This methylene blue is USP grade, ensuring top-tier purity for maximum safety and effectiveness. This is not the sketchy stuff you will find on Amazon. Recharge is formulated with research-backed ingredients to optimize brain function and cellular repair while supporting clean, lasting energy. Tap into cognitive and metabolic support that helps you stay focused, energized, and resilient all day long. Choose a trusted formula made for your body, not fish tanks. Feel the difference with enhanced mental clarity, sustained energy, sharper focus, and protection against cognitive decline. And no, it will not turn your tongue blue. Head over to twc.health/connect and use code CONNECT, CONNECT, to get 10% off plus free shipping. Again, that's twc.health/connect and use code CONNECT to get 10% off. Power up with Recharge, plus so many other great supplements and vitamins that are great for your health, don't go through the pharmaceutical industry, and are made right here in America. I cannot recommend the Wellness Company enough, you guys. Go over to twc.health/connect and use code CONNECT for 10% off plus free shipping on every order.
Now, Ken, at such a young age, as a teenager or in your early 20s, do you know all of it? Like, did you have to learn all of this wisdom that you have now? Like, did you just learn that through trial and error, through being a pimp, or did you study the shit? Did you read about the psychology of man versus women?
I read Iceberg Slim. I read all those books, but I didn't want to be them. See, Iceberg Slim shot heroin and cocaine. Yeah. I never been a drug addict. I don't use drugs. I don't smoke. I don't do anything.
Right.
So that wasn't my flavor. So I tried to stay away from that. But, some of the principles that they had in the books and stuff like that, I had a different, because I was more psychological, I understood that pimping was a psychological game. So with me, it wasn't about me just learning from other people. It was about me learning and create my own pathway. Mm-hmm. So everybody was like, man, you got to do this, you got to do this. So I learned one secret in pimping is that pimps sell women dreams. I never sold a woman a dream. I was the dream.
Okay, so what is the end goal of that dream?
Well, they like diamonds. They like Rolls Royces. Right. They like Maseratis. I had all that. Wow. Big houses. Wow. So I didn't have to work as hard as the other guys to get the women. All I had to do was show up, and they thought I played for, the Milwaukee Bucks, the Green Bay Packers. They thought I was a football player. They thought I was an actor. They thought I was a celebrity because they see me with all these trappings of life. And that's how they perceive that, and I learned that at a young age. So women would just see me, they wanted to be with me because of my success, or my appearance of success. Because,
I see.
Perception is reality.
Right. So you were
psychological.
Now, so were you not coming off as like a normal pimp?
No, see, that's a misconception. I know some pimps, that own strip clubs. They got 30 bitches. All of them work in the club. Right. I know pimps that play golf, that, hobnob with the president. You a real pimp, you would never really know him. I'm talking about a guy that's really doing it. He's probably a multimillionaire because it's a lot of money in sex.
Right.
And once you organize it, the mob, Dennis Huff, from the Bunny Ranch, he was making millions of dollars. So it's different levels of the game. Like my girls didn't sell. They sold reality. You know what that is?
Mm-mm.
So reality is when you give a trick or male the perception that he's going to get some, but he never get the. So you have the persona of a prostitute. You make a trick think that he's going to get some sex, but it's all game. So like if my girls worked in the strip club, when they go in the strip club, what they would do is they would order drinks, water for them, vodka for the trick. The trick get in the VIP room. He's drinking the vodka. She's getting him drunk. We understood that in every strip club, they got a thing on there called gratuity on every seat. So instead of them asking for the money, they order some wings for like $30. Then they put an $800 gratuity. The trick is drunk, he approved it. Wow. So we was running like, thousands and thousands of dollars up, and I was the only guy that really understood this game. I created this game.
And is that legal?
Yeah, that's legal. It's a tip.
Wow. And so they look at it, they're drunk, and they go, yeah, cool.
Yeah, he got to sign it. That's what make it legal, the signature.
Right.
See,
wow.
Yeah, so once he signed it, it would be illegal if she took it and she went and took his credit card and ran it without his permission.
Right.
But every transaction was signed, and it was legitimate. And then, she's playing another game. Remember, it's called reality. So reality, this game is, I don't know if I can cuss on here.
Of course you can.
But like a trick, right, when he in the VIP room, she's telling him, like, hey, we're going to have fun. But she's working with the security guard, so the security guard keep coming in. So instead of her touching his, she tells him, jack your off, and she playing with her, and she making all, how women moan and groan, and that turns them on. And then she says, stop it. The security coming. So she's selling him reality. He thinking he's going to get sex. He think he's going to have sex with her, but he's not having sex with her.
And so the longer she drags it out, the longer it's in there, the more money he's got.
So you order wings, you go from wings to a soda, you go from a soda to a drink, and in every scenario, you charge a different charge. And it's a different, it's not 800, and then it go to 700, then it go to 500. That way you can't get a charge back.
Right.
But at the same time, as she's running her little game, right, the club is on it too, and it's 1,000% legit. So when it says your credit card don't work no more, then she got her where she wanted him at. She's drunk. She walk him through it. They call the bank, and then she reactivate the card.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And then if the trick is live, a live trick is somebody that you can run up. So if he live, she'll take him from the club to Walmart. And then she'll order gift cards for $500. So the gift cards she would use for hotel fees, for paying, for trips and stuff like that, because that's still money. Otherwise, you'll pay for cash. And then if he go to the credit card where he actually uses his actual credit, now she's getting Birkin bags, she's getting Louis Vuitton bags and stuff like that.
And she could bust a trick out like that without even.
But because she's self reality. The biggest mistake most hoes do is sell they for $20, $30, $50, $100 because now, the thrill is gone.
Yeah, I got the.
So a trick love a challenge, right?
Right.
Especially, white men. White men love to, different. A black man say, this bitch ain't give me no. But a white man love to conquer women, you know what I mean? Especially women that he think are conquerable, right?
Yeah.
So he's going to try everything. And if he don't know he's being played, then he's going to play the game all the way till he get all the way stretched out.
So like reality is basically like, oh, maybe this woman actually loves me. Maybe she's trying to sell him the dream of like a relationship.
Yeah, she be like grabbing him like, you my husband, you love me, don't you? Right. She talking to him like that, right?
Right.
Because she got to create this scenario,
of course,
and she's got him drunk and like, what the is you doing? Grabbing his phone. You better not be trying to talk to another bitch. She's psychologically, it's reality, so it's a game that she playing. And the trick know he's being played, but he loved the game because, it's just like a bitch, right, that know that she can have any out there. She's a bad bitch.
Right.
But when she meet that one dude that give her that challenge, even though she know that she don't have to give him the money or she don't have to do these things for her, she loved the challenge. A woman love when a man, don't pay them attention. Women love when a man is hard to get. They love when a man, mess with other women and you throw that up in their face and they know that they the second or they the side chick.
Yep.
They say they don't like it, but they like it because the challenge.
That's
because her mind is this. I'm a bad bitch. I'm finna tear his ass up. I'm finna break him down like to the last compound. So she thinking she finna flip you.
Right.
But if you got real game and you understand the game that you play, the probability of her actually flipping you is probably slim to none. But in the same thing, when you're looking at a rich white trick with a whole lot of money that control Fortune 500 companies and everybody is submissive to him. You know what I'm saying? He's the boss. And now he got this little ghetto bitch, you know what I'm saying?
Bossing him around.
It works better with white women though, because white men love their kind. You know what I'm saying? They love dealing with white women. A black woman, he ain't gonna let her get too slick over. But black women can play the game too. They can play it on black men.
Right.
But it works better with a white woman because it's the reality is not only it's the girlfriend experience too.
Sure.
He feels like this is she's telling him she acting like his wife. She acting jealous. She acting like she really concerned, like she really like him, playing his hair, like, telling him shit like, I'm gonna f the shit out of you. You know what I'm saying? She ain't gonna never f him, but she said, I'm gonna f the shit out you.
So these women, they have to be top-notch bitches.
Top-notch
They can't just
All
be
American.
selling. They have to have hustle, like,
blonde, blue eye, a brunette, all American white women with zero fat on their body.
Yeah.
With, titties done. Everything, they don't wear gowns.